Hi, Pat Ford from the Coalition Radio Network. We're live here in front of Halitosis Hall, the State House. Mordor, yeah, that place. Standing with me is Sue Cienki. She is the chair of your Rhode Island Grand Old Party, the RIGOP, the Republican Party. They just finished a press conference that I was held up on the South Side listening to the governor and his cabal. Uh, there's some pending legislation that Rhode Islanders need to understand. It's being brought up, my understanding, for the entire Senate tomorrow. Sue, thanks all, first of all, for I know you've got a busy schedule. Thanks for joining me after the press conference. Tell us about the legislation.
Basically does is remove the witness or notarization requirement on mail ballots. So the Rhode Island Republican Party has an objection to that. We think it just opens the door for fraudulent activity. We want to make sure that citizens in Rhode Island, it's easier for them to vote, but harder to cheat.
One of the provisions that I find astonishing, and we'll file this under the capacity of what could possibly go wrong, is the notion that they're going to send ballots to nursing homes for people who, through life's challenges, find themselves there. Um, Obviously, a variety of situations they may find themselves in. Not only that, but given the state-of-the-art information system we have here in the state of Rhode Island, a number of those folks will leave us. They will pass. And the potential for ballots being mailed to people who may not even be there for a number of reasons, some tragic, strikes me as just an opportunity for chaos. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. We know that the voter rolls are not clean. In fact, when Ken Block so graciously went through the voter rolls, he found well over 200 double registrations. So even the software that the state uses, that the Secretary of State bought, does not flag double registrations. And by double registrations, we mean people with the same name, same address, same year of birth. They are double registered. And we actually found two instances of people that actually voted twice, and the Board of Elections said, well, it was just a clerical error. But those two people actually voted twice in the 2020 election. You can say that that's not a lot, but we want to make sure that the voter rolls are clean first before we make any changes to the election laws.
It's remarkably easy to vote right now in Rhode Island on a number of different levels. Do you feel that folks need to make some type of investment, personal investment, in taking the time to vote in the manner that has, quite frankly, worked very well here in Rhode Island for a number of years?
Yeah, and asking people to have an ID. Now, what they're setting up is two different systems for voting. If you vote in person or you vote early, you have to show your ID and you have to sign. Now they're saying you don't have to do anything to vote by mail. You just have to put your mail ballot in the ballot, and we're supposed to make sure that those people are the ones that are supposed to vote. So there's two different systems in place. And it is not hard. You need an ID to do everything. Go to the bank, get on a plane, get a job, go to the doctor. You have to show an ID, so I would say that almost everybody has an ID. And an ID actually means that you exist in this world. So it's not a tough requirement for something that is so important for our constitutional republic, our elections.
And in fact, you're required to an ID to receive a number of state benefits, everything from being an in-house, in-state citizen to get in-state tuition rates to transfer payments to employment. It's we're final question. I think, and again, thank you for taking the time, Sue Cienki. She is the chair of the Rhode Island Republican Party, speaking today in opposition to the Senate bill. Uh, we are about to, and it seems like every election cycle, it's more so, engage in some of the most difficult, contentious elections in the Democratic Party that this state has seen in generations. Then project that forward to what's going to be an incredibly contentious, potentially divisive general election. Uh, is it fair to say that entire elections can be influenced by the paucity, if you will, of identification and verification?
Certainly, we have seen in the past, in prior years, that about 10% of the population votes by mail. During COVID, of course, there was over 30%. And I think that was because people were afraid of COVID. They didn't want to show up in person. But since then, we have seen special elections in the state go back to about that 10%. That can make the difference in an election. Certainly, we had a number of state representatives that voted and were voted in by less than 100 votes.
We're going to get this up right away. How can Rhode Islanders react? My understanding is it's going to the Senate floor tomorrow. You know, sometimes the wisdom is out there that if it's already going to the Senate floor, they've whipped their votes, they've counted their votes, but there's still a day, and Rhode Islanders need to understand that on issues like this, they don't get a vote. Their only vote may be a quick phone call, a quick email. What's the Senate bill number, and how important is that kind of reaction going to be tonight?
So the Senate bill is 2007. And I think I would like to tell everybody, go talk to your senator, call them, let them know how you feel about this bill, because it is going to be voted on tomorrow. You know, we saw that with the anti-vax bill, that people heard about it, knew about what was going to happen, and they actually called their senators, and several of them removed their sponsorship from that bill. So you do have a voice. We encourage everybody to understand how important this is. Elections are important.
And your opinion matters. There is some claim, some urban legend to the fact that the hybrid method of testifying, where folks could call in, and as someone who witnessed a number of hybrid testimony at the state level, it was actually very well done. But the overwhelming response by the parents community in opposition to the continuation of what was then the mask mandate may have convinced a number of folks in power that maybe this hybrid thing isn't so good, and we should make people drive to Providence, find parking, have testimony while many Rhode Islanders are still at work or feeding their children or picking up their children from daycare. Do you want them to bring back telephone testimony?
I actually think it's a great idea. It engages more citizens, their ability to sit at home and actually participate in the government. It's great.
Thank you very much, Sue. Again, thanks for joining us. Sue Cienki, the Rhode Island Republican Party. They're all over the web. We'll provide a couple of links. Sue, somehow I think we'll be talking soon.